Welcome to the Crystal Bar podcast, where I'll be sharing crystal wisdom and cosmic guidance to empower, enlighten, and educate you. My name is Claire, and I'm a best-selling crystal book author and owner of the Crystal Bar. I look forward to explaining the world of crystals with you, having conversations, and making our day that little bit more magical. You can find me across the socials at the Crystal Bar and on our website thecrystalbar.co.uk, where there is an abundance of free educational knowledge to support you on your spiritual journey. And now for today's episode. How are you, beautiful souls? It's been a busy week, what with the start of September, autumn, cozy energy season creeping in, and that new moon has dredged up some emotions which could leave you questioning your next move. It's definitely been interesting for sure. Either way, I hope you're all good, I hope you're well, and I hope it's not been too testing for you. But lucky energy is also around, and it's an abundant energy ready to make itself known to you and help you. So look out for that. Look out for those signs and synchronicities, because honestly, things are looking good. So stick with whatever you're working on, and now with all the effort you're putting in, it will all work out for you. If you feel out of sorts, I recommend carrying some moonstone to perhaps navigate yourself onto the right path and support those new intentions from the moon that you may have set. But productivity is definitely the word of the moment, so take advantage of the Virgo energy to make those big shifts in your life. So on a personal note, we actually popped to our allotment this week. For those of you who know me well, you'll know that we took on an allotment. An allotment, yes. We took this on at the beginning of the year, and it's actually going really well. And for those of you that follow on social media, I actually set my own pumpkin seeds. Stuart brought these for me. And believe me, the pumpkin patch is abundantly full of pumpkins. But we did laugh. Stuart thought he had brought normal size seeds, but on closer inspection, they're actually ball size, like large football size, which means we have around 60 small pumpkins. You know, they'll make super cute lanterns, and my niece has potentially taken some for the children at her school. But we did laugh, but we're grateful they're growing very well. But I can imagine the outside of our house, hopefully the children won't steal them and break them. But anyway, hopefully the outside of our house will be absolutely peppered with small lanterns this Halloween. But yeah, so, you know, it was all good. We've been up to other stuff. We've had the gentleman in to look at our home and do some ideas for reconfiguring the lounge with a fireplace and whatnot. So it's all very exciting. But whatever you've been up to, I hope it's been good, and I hope it's been kind to you too. So today I thought we could explore the world of crystals. Perhaps a little bit more sciencey, their fascinating history and how they've been cherished across various cultures over the many, many years. So grab your favourite crystal, sit back, and let's get started. So first off, what exactly is a crystal? And in simple terms, and I don't want to get too sciencey on you, it's a crystal solid material where the atoms are arranged in a highly ordered structure, forming a repeating pattern. You know, think of them as nature's version of organised chaos. It's like Mother Nature decided to throw a party and everyone showed up perfectly aligned. But let's delve into this a little bit further. Crystals are actually formed through a fascinating natural process that begins with the arrangement of these atoms or molecules in this structured lattice. And this process can actually occur in several ways. But one common method is crystallization from a cooling liquid or gas. For example, molten rock known as magma cools beneath the Earth's surface. It solidifies into crystals, and each type forms under special temperatures and pressure conditions. It's exciting, right? So, similarly, when mineral-rich water evaporates, the dissolved minerals can crystallize as the water disappears, creating stunning formations like salt flats and selenite, or beautiful geodes, so your quartz crystals. And the unique conditions of their formation, including temperature, pressure, and the chemical environment, influence the shape, the size, the colour, and the energy of the resulting crystals, making each one a distinct masterpiece of nature. So it will be no surprise to learn that crystals have actually been around for millions of years, long before humans started to appreciate their beauty. And the ancient Egyptians were among the first to use crystals. They incorporated them into their jewelry and even burial items, and they actually believed that lapis lazuli, with its stunning deep blue colour, could bring protection and wisdom in the afterlife. Just imagine a pharaoh being buried with a chest full of shiny crystals, rocks and stones to take on their eternal journey. Now, ancient Egypt had a deep reverence for crystals and gemstones, and they integrated them into various aspects of all their daily life, spirituality and burial practices. So here are some of the key uses of their ancient Egyptian culture. Who said history was boring, right? I wish we had these kind of history lessons in our classes at school, but anyway. Egyptians believed that certain crystals had healing properties, and they used stones like amethyst and emerald for their purported ability to heal ailments and promote overall well-being. So crushed stones were sometimes mixed with oils to create ointments or other incredible medicinal items. And do you know what? That's where a lot of the love of crystals comes from to this day, because all of these ancient traditions have been passed down over the years, and the wisdom has been passed down over thousands of years. And I just think that's amazing. And you've probably seen on photos of ancient Egyptian kings and queens, but crystals were commonly fashioned into jewellery. Pieces made from lapis lazuli, turquoise, carnelian and other stones were adorned decoratively, but they also carried protective and healing properties for those who wore them, and wearing specific stones was believed to bring good fortune and repel negative energies, as we all still do today. How amazing is this? Now, as I already said, crystals played a significant role in the burial practices of ancient Egyptians, and they were often placed in tombs with the deceased as part of the burial goods. For instance, scarab amulets made from various stones were believed to protect the soul in the afterlife, and lapis lazuli, symbolising the night sky and the heavens, was particularly favoured for its significant spiritual ability. Now, crystals were also integral to religious and spiritual practices. They were used in rituals, offerings, and ceremonies to connect with the divine, and the Egyptians believed that specific stones could enhance spiritual energy and provide protection from malevolent forces. Does this sound familiar? Now, different crystals held specific meanings in ancient Egyptian culture. For example, turquoise was associated with life and fertility, whilst carnelian was linked to courage and protection. And the symbolic use of these stones was deeply embedded in their art, hieroglyphs, and mythology. Some crystals were even ground into powders for use in cosmetics. For example, malachite, that beautiful green crystal, was used as an eye makeup called kohl, which not only enhanced beauty but was thought to protect the eyes from the harsh sun and ward off evil spirits. Amulets made from crystals were widely used for protection and luck. They were inscribed with spells or symbols and worn around the neck or placed in homes to bring good fortune and safeguard against misfortune. Overall, crystals were woven into the fabric of ancient Egyptian life, reflecting their beliefs in the power of nature, spirituality, and the afterlife. But their profound appreciation for these stones is evident in their art today, in their religion and daily practices, And this showcases a rich cultural legacy that continues to fascinate us today. But the Egyptians weren't the only ones enchanted by crystals. In ancient China, people utilised them in medicine and divination. I can never say that word. Divination. Oh my gosh. Thank you for bearing with me with my quirky words. The ancient Chinese people, amazing culture, they believed that certain crystals could harmonise energies and even predict the future. Crystals were often used in traditional Chinese medicine, and practitioners believed that certain stones could help balance the body's energy or qi and promote physical and emotional healing. For example, jade was highly valued for its supposed ability to detoxify the body and promote longevity. Crystals were also integral to spiritual rituals and practices, and they were used in ceremonies to connect with the spiritual realm, enhance meditation, and invite positive energy. And the Chinese believed that specific crystals such as jade could well indeed attract good fortune and ward off negative influences. As we talk through these ancient cultures, you're probably recognizing a lot of the words, the practices, and the alignments with the today's use of crystals. And in Feng Shui, crystals were employed to enhance the flow of energy in homes and spaces. Different stones were placed strategically to promote harmony, prosperity, and protection. And for instance, clear quartz was often used to amplify positive energy, while black tourmaline was used for protection against negative energies. I'm sure this is all sounding so familiar. It just fascinates me that all of this knowledge has been passed down for thousands of years. Just like the Egyptians, crystals and gemstones were also used in art and decoration. Jade, in particular, was cherished for its beauty and symbolic meanings, often carved into intricate shapes and used in jewellery, ornaments and burial items. And the Chinese associated jade with purity, wisdom and moral integrity. Ancient Chinese astrology also incorporated crystals. It's so exciting. Certain stones were believed to be the auspicious based on one zodiac sign, and people would carry or wear these stones for protection and luck, just like today. And crystals were formed into ritual objects such as talismans and amulets, believed to bring protection, health and prosperity. And these objects often featured inscriptions or symbols that enhanced their intended power. Overall, crystals played a multifaceted role in ancient Chinese culture, serving not only practical purposes, but also deep spiritual and symbolic significance, reflecting the civilization's profound connection to nature and the cosmos. As we're travelling the world, let's hop over to India, where crystals have actually played a significant role in spirituality and healing for centuries. Now, the practice of using crystals for meditation and energy work is deeply rooted in Indian culture, and they often create a crystal grids and crystal energy like you've never felt before in terms of how they use them, which also leads on to much of the healing that we've adopted today. Now, these crystal grids, which are intricate layouts of crystals designed to amplify energy, are like a spiritual Pinterest board, but instead of recipes and DIY projects, you've got a powerful energy source. In traditional Indian medicine known as Ayurveda, I hope I've said that right, crystals were believed to possess healing properties, and specific stones were used to balance the body's energies or doshas. For example, amethyst was thought to calm the mind, while citrine was associated with boosting vitality and energy. Crystals and gemstones played a significant role in Vedic astrology, and each gemstone was associated with a planet and believed to influence an individual's life based on their astrological chart. Now, wearing specific stones was thought to enhance positive traits and mitigate challenges. For instance, wearing a ruby was believed to enhance wealth and success, while blue sapphire was thought to bring wisdom. Crystals were used in various spiritual practices, including meditation and rituals, and they were believed to amplify spiritual energy, aid in concentration, and enhance the experience of meditation. Certain stones like quartz were often used to create mala beads for chanting and prayer. In Hinduism, gemstones were often associated with deities and were used in religious ceremonies. For example, the gemstone Navaratna, 9 gems, is believed to represent the 9 planets and is worn for protection and prosperity. Each gem in the Navaratna has its own significance and energy. And if you don't know what one of these is, this is actually a ruby representing the sun. It's always the center, and it's in a piece of beautiful jewelry surrounded clockwise from the top by a diamond, a natural pearl, red coral, hezonite, a blue sapphire, cat's eye, a yellow sapphire, and an emerald. Traditionally, no gem other than a ruby or a red spinel is set in the center of this arrangement. And it's an incredible piece of jewelry. It's such a benefit wearing one. It protects the wearer all round against various evil spirits and misfortunes, and it can give the person much needed satisfaction and hope in their life as well, which is very beneficial if you need it. Now, in ancient Indian culture, crystals were commonly, and are still today actually, used in art and architecture. They adorn temples, sculptures and jewellery, reflecting both aesthetic beauty and spiritual significance. Intricate carvings and inlays of gemstones were often seen in royal palaces and sacred sites. Crystals were fashioned into talismans and amulets for protection against negativity and misfortune, and these objects were often inscribed again with sacred symbols or mantras, believed to enhance their protective qualities. In ancient alchemical practices, crystals were believed to hold mystical properties, and alchemists sought to harness the energies of stones to achieve spiritual enlightenment and transformation, viewing them as a bridge between the material and spiritual worlds. Now, different crystals held unique significance in various cultural contexts. For example, the belief in the protective qualities of certain stones led to their use in homes and places of worship to ward off spirits or welcome positive energies. Overall, ancient Indian culture viewed crystals and gemstones as powerful tools deeply intertwined with health, spirituality, and daily life. Their use reflected a holistic understanding of the universe, emphasizing the connection between the physical and metaphysical realms. This rich legacy continues to influence contemporary practices in wellness and spirituality across the world today. And who can forget the Greeks? They were big fans of crystals too, and they believed that certain stones could connect them to the divine. For example, amethyst was associated with Bacchus, the god of wine, and was thought to prevent intoxication. So, if you were heading to a party, you might wear some amethyst to keep your head clear whilst you enjoyed a drink. Talk about a party trick. Perhaps we should try that now. The Greeks believed that certain crystals held healing properties. For instance, as previously mentioned, amethyst was thought to prevent intoxication, promote clarity of mind, whilst clear quartz was believed to have purifying effects. Physicians of the time, including Hippocrates, sometimes used gemstones in their medicinal practices too. Now, crystals were often associated with spiritual and mystical beliefs with the Greeks, and they were used in rituals and ceremonies to invoke the favour of the gods or to enhance their spiritual practices. And the Greeks believed that certain stones could connect them to the divine, providing protection and guidance. Crystals were frequently crafted into amulets as well, and talismans intended as well for their protection against evil spirits and misfortune. I think we're seeing quite a trend amongst all of the cultures, aren't we? And how we've brought these forward. For example, the stone hematite was thought to provide protection in battle and was often worn by soldiers. As well as other cultures, the Greeks used the crystals in astrology and also linked them to the planets and people's birth charts and suggested that certain stones could enhance personal attributes or mitigate challenges. Wonder if this is where birthstones come from. Crystals and gemstones were widely used in art and jewellery. Again, they adorned personal items, showcasing the artistry of Greek craftsmanship. Again, it was lapis lazuli, garnet and onyx that were popular choices for creating such intricate designs. And philosophers such as Plato wrote about the metaphysical properties of crystals and their connection to the cosmos. Crystals were seen as reflections of the divine order and were believed to embody certain virtues or energies. I wonder how we're using that today. Crystals were often used in cultural significance, and for instance, the Greeks associated the stone lapis lazuli with royalty and divinity, whilst jade was believed to bring good fortune and protection. I wonder as well if these cultures learnt from each other as people travelled. I'm sure that was the case as well. Well, crystals were often incorporated into ritual objects as well in worship and ceremonies, and they were believed to enhance the energy of the rituals and help facilitate communication with the gods. Overall, crystals held a multifaceted role in ancient Greek culture. They intertwined practical applications with deep spiritual and philosophical beliefs. Their use reflected a broader understanding of the natural world and its connection to the divine, showcasing the significance of these beautiful stones in various aspects of all life in ancient Greece. Fast forward to today, and crystals are experiencing oh my gosh, fast forward and then I start mumbling my words. There we go. But anyway, let's start that again. What was I saying? Yeah, fast forward to today and crystals are experiencing a well-deserved renaissance. I mean, they're just incredible spiritual tools and much deserve their resurgence in popularity, right? They are popping up everywhere, of course, from trendy boutiques to wellness retreats and adorning our own personal homes and bodies. How many of you listening right now are wearing a piece of crystal? Oh, I can imagine it's probably 99.9% of you, and we are here for it. We, the people, are using them for everything from meditation to home decor, as jewellery, and everything else in between. You've got rose quartz for love, citrine for abundance, obsidians for protection, sodalite, lapis lazuli for wisdom, jade and green aventurine and pyrite for luck. It's like having a personal cheer squad made of stones. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, are these just pretty rocks? Well, whilst the skeptics amongst you may argue that crystals are simply decorative, many enthusiasts and healers like myself know and believe they carry unique energies that can affect our emotions and well-being. And whether you're a hardcore believer or just someone who loves a shiny piece of quartz, there's no denying the beauty and allure of these natural wonders. So before we head to our listener's story and question, let's just touch on a few fun facts. Did you know that the word crystal comes from the Greek word kristallos, which means frozen? It actually reflects the idea that crystals are formed from minerals that have crystallized over time. It's like nature's natural, get the words out, way of freezing beauty in time. So I've had a few different questions this week, but I'm just going to stick with one question. And I've actually got a story from someone. Oh, it's so lovely. It's brilliant. But the first question was, how do you start your own crystal collection? Well, I shall just say one thing. Keep it simple. When you walk into or browse an online crystal shop, pay attention to which crystal catches your eye. Just let your intuition guide you. If a particular stone or crystal draws you in, it's likely meant for you. And as I've often said, once you're drawn in, you'll be surprised by how precise the information on the crystal card is, and that it's found you for a specific reason. If you have specific needs, you can, of course, ask for clear guidance from our store owners, and we encourage you to do that. But just trust your intuition. Go with something that attracts you and makes you want to be around it and gives you that wow factor. It doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to go huge and walk out with the largest amethyst church just because. It could be a tiny tumble. And in fact, I probably recommend, if you're not used to crystal energy, just buy a tiny tumble, get used to how that makes you feel, buy one at a time. Or if you buy a few that you're attracted to, just put those away and just work with one at a time to see how it helps you, how it makes you feel. Because having too many, you may wonder which one is supporting you in the way you're really enjoying. So just go with it slowly, introduce yourself slowly, and just have fun with it. Don't put pressure on yourself because this is your journey. Of course, if it's an aesthetic thing, enjoy the making your home and your environment beautiful, calming, or however you need it to be. But if it's more of a spiritual and healing journey, just start small and with one and go from there. Now, every week on my socials, normally in my Instagram stories, I do ask for questions or hear how crystals have helped you. And this is a really great story. A huge thanks to Emma, who voice noted and allowed me to share this with you. So Emma had a week that started off chaotic, but took a hilarious turn thanks to her trusty crystals. As someone who often dabbled in crystal healing but never took it too seriously, she decided to carry her piece of citrine to work. She had read on my Instagram that citrine attracts positivity and abundance, and given that she was facing a particularly grueling project deadline, she thought, why not? Now, last Wednesday, her boss called on her and everyone else for an unexpected meeting, and Emma's nerves kicked in. So she clutched and took hold of her citrine in her pocket, telling herself, you've got this. But as she stood up to present, she felt the crystal slip from her pocket and in a moment of sheer panic, watched it fall to the floor, bounced across the conference room. Everyone stopped mid-discussion as the citrine rolled right into her boss's shoe. In an attempt to recover composure, Emma blurted out, well, it looks like my crystal has some strong energy today. Laughter erupted in the room, including from her boss, thankfully, who actually humorously declared that the crystal must be kept and must be there to help the team step up their game. Great boss, by the way, Emma. Great boss. Love that. The crystal was helping everyone to step up their game because it hit him in the shoe. And the mood shifted entirely and the meeting turned into a really positive brainstorming session filled with lots of creativity. And so far, the project looks like it's going to be a huge success. So by the end of the week, Emma had realised that her citrine had not only brought her a bit of luck, but also lightened the atmosphere at work. And she joked that her crystal had become the unofficial mascot of the team. As of now, Emma has decided to keep her crystals closer, not just for their healing and supporting properties, but for the joy and humour they brought into her life. So sometimes in the most unexpected ways, crystals can really help us. And Emma, we are all rooting for you. Good luck. All right, lovely souls, that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this introduction into the history of crystals. Whether you believe in their mystical properties or not, they certainly have a rich history and cultural significance that can make them worth exploring. So, I hope you have a great week, and remember, the right crystal will always find you. Oh, don't go yet. I just wanted to remind you that all of the crystals we've discussed are available on our website. And because you're amazing, we have a special discount code especially for you. The code is Podcast Crystal, all one word. If you pop that in at checkout, you'll have a secret discount applied to your basket. Because do you know what? As I said, you're the best. If you've enjoyed this podcast, it would be wonderful if you could share it with your like-minded friends or leave a review or follow, and it would really help us if you do. Have a wonderful day, a magical day, because you deserve the very best in the world.